getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the streets of Long Beach for round 7 of the JPB GT4 series live on the JP Broadcasting Network. It is going to really showcase the second half of what has been an exciting season so far. And you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt. I'll be bringing James Parfitt in very, very shortly alongside me in the commentary box. But let's have a look at the current driver standings after round 6 last time out. Starting off, pro driver standings at the minute, and Stein Veenman continues to lead the way on 390 points ahead of Mikey Pollard, with it being an AI racesummaries.com Jesse and Tracy 1-2. Kim Andre Bjorklund, who at Fuji nearly got the opportunity to go for 2 wins, and unfortunately luck didn't go the Sim Racing Norway's driver's way. However, he's third in the standings ahead of Miles Owens for Sim Race Sweden. Richard Simnor has made his way up to 5th in the standings on 279 points. Project 88 Pro's Talnor Oromets rounds out the top 6. Anders Liliorde, missing, won't be with us tonight. So the Team Vikings driver in 7th could have a dropped score coming his way. Dan Babbage, Derek Crowther, Mikey Pearce not running tonight. They round out the top 10 overall. Could mean the likes of Dan Pepples, Chris Barnes and Gavin Petty, maybe even Paddy Faulkner could make some moves up the table as they round out 11th to 14th on the standings. Andy Jones, Michael Seal, Tom Weston and Michael Leese round out the running all moment. Next up, we go to the pro team table for the first 6 rounds so far, and it's AI racesummaries.com Tracy that lead on 626 points. With 595 points for the pairing of Veenman and Pearce. When it comes to AIRaceSummaries.com, Jesse. Sim Racing Norway with the pairing of Kim Andre Bjorklund and Torbjorn Mele ran at the top 3 on 557. Project 88 Pro, Sim Race Sweden, Triple Blade Oscar, DC Racing Faulkner PC, Team Vikings, DC Racing Blue, DCW Racing, and JWM round out the 11 teams. However, coming on to the AM driver standings, Robert Stoughton leads the way by a mere 8 points, having taken the lead in the standings from Quad Dash Racing's Tristan Engelstadt. They're covered by just 8 points coming into the 7th round of the championship, with Rob Williams from Triple Blade Gamma rounding out the top 3. Stuart Rice, Gary McFarlane, who's not running because he's got an unfortunate internet fault this afternoon, will possibly, more than likely, lose 6th. But who is going to be in front of him? You can see the likes of Torbjorn Mailer, 6th ahead of Stuart Gibbons. Richard White and Rachel Hoff ran out the top 9. Jess Rakowski, who took a maiden AM podium last time out in race 2 at Fuji, rounds out the top 10. Level on points with Chris Evans, Austin Draper, Callum Mylan, Tom Anderson and Tom Bingham round out the AM standings for the drivers. In the team standings for the AMs, we have got Project 88 AM on 635 ahead of Triple Blade Gamma on 594, with Triple P Racing 3 on 569. Triple P Racing 1, Quad Dash Racing, they round out the top 5. JC Sim Sports, Twisted Development Racing and Performance Link Esports rounding out the AM team standings. And with that in mind, we're coming to the end of free practice, and let's bring my partner in crime into the booth. Good evening, James Parfitt.
Good evening, young sir. How are you this evening, my dear?
All good, all good. Of course, you and I have commentated on Long Beach a few times before here on the JP Broadcasting Network, and there's a lot to talk about. I mean, the keys to the race that I remember from, what was it, Porsche Cup Europe we did a little while back. I mean, a clean start's going to be required, otherwise there's going to be absolute chaos in the circuit. You've got to pick your points to overtake because they're minimal. Don't take the barriers lightly because there's no real runoff area, and qualifying is going to be quite crucial as well, isn't it? Those are the 4 real sort of taking home points that I think will be crucial tonight for round 7.
Yeah, they've definitely got to be aware. Now, they have all been told, we had a driver briefing beforehand in general, so they've all been told about the precarious situation with the final corner. We all know that at this circuit, this final corner on the parade lap causes some problems, Mr. Goldschmidt, doesn't it?
It does indeed, and I think the biggest thing will be the start for both races. Of course, we still have the traditional 15-minute sprint race where it's a flat-out sprint, and then it's the 45-minute feature where all drivers will be on a maximum of 50% fuel when they start, then have a mandatory pit stop. As James said to the drivers during drivers briefing, that it is a case of every single driver has to come through Indy left and then go through the hairpin onto Shoreline Drive in single file formation. Once the field has made its way through that final corner, pole position will be on the right hand side, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc, etc. They won't go on the green lights, but it will be just past the Acura bridge, going through Bridgestone, where they can then put the hammer down, and then it's going to be the run down to turn 1 at Toyota. And we've seen it before where it can be very, very close. You've got to really pick your moments here.
Yeah, you definitely have. It's generally this circuit relies on mistakes. I think that's the thing with Long Beach. It doesn't rely on getting the overtake done. It relies on mistakes. Now, there are certain lines through here that you can take, and we'll jump on board with Steinbeeman as he is coming down to turn 1. They want to stay away from the pit exit because it will pick up a slowdown. Through here, I'm expecting them to be single file into the fountain, okay? You can't go too wide, it's just literally impossible. But now it starts to open up. You can go up the inside there, but it's got to be facilitated very well. And also round turn 5 here, you can also go up the inside if you get a good run out. This is going to be their main overtake. So you can see Stein's all the way to the right. Now, if you've got a run, you could go up the inside and force the outside person to the right. Here as well, Stein's going to go to the left. That leaves the inside line free. So there's the options if they want to get the overtake. If they can get a good run between turn 8 and 9, which is where we're at the moment, they can go up the inside. After that, the last little segment through 9, 10 and 11 is a little bit impossible to go too wide through. The final corner, if they try and take it too wide, whatever the consequences of it is, and if they come out and moan, well, that will be on the overtaking individual, because to be honest, they shouldn't be trying to overtake going too wide at that point anyway.
Yeah, and I'm just pinging in the Discord chat for the drivers, just a reminder. There's a couple of people were actually late to drivers briefing. That's a big no-no. In IRL Motorsport, you're late or you go to drivers and you are not at drivers briefing, get fined. So I just done a little bit of a reminder for the drivers in the drivers chat. I know that we are underway, about 3.5 minutes through in qualifying. And look at this. Swim Race Sweden have come out of the block swinging here with Miles Owens and Dan Pepples, covered by just 7 100ths in a second. Nicola Fonacciari rounding out the top 3. So a couple of new players in this week as well, James, which really put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons here at Long Beach, I think.
Yes, there is. There's 4 new drivers this week. They have been asked not to physically get involved with the championship fight, and they have all agreed to do that. Obviously, I wasn't going to limit their qualification, but at the same time, they are aware that if there's a fight going on within the championship behind them, not to try and get themselves too much involved. And that's the same for, as you say, Nicolo Bordichiari, Ewan Bramer, Stuart Pearson and Gordon Haig have all been told the same thing. So I'm hoping that they all follow and adhere, and hopefully it will be followed where they won't get involved with the championship fight. Dan Peoples has just gone on to pole position here as well, so good job from him. And then we've got Nicolo Fornaciari in the Mercedes. He is currently sitting in P1 in the Mercedes as we speak. So some great action taking place, but they have all been told not to try and get themselves involved in the championship fight.
Oh, and someone's just had a bit of a moment. That was coming through just after Toyota, I believe, as we are with Fonacciari, who is running in the Mercedes. And Dan Pepples has got a provisional pole, 124.574. And Robert Stotton has just gone purple. He's the leader in the AM classification by just 8 points coming into the 7th round of the season. So he's gone purple in Sector 3. It's a very short lap around here, James, just a shade under 2 miles. Has been used since 1975, and also an annual fixture on IndyCar and both the WeatherTech IMSA Sports Car Championship. Also, for those wondering, Formula 3 actually used a modified version of this circuit back in 2016, so it's seen all walks of sports car and single-seater action, both not just internal combustion, but electric powered as well.
Yeah, right. I like this circuit. Not many people do, and I'm not a lover of street circuits normally. Anybody that knows me will know that, I sleep during the Monaco Grand Prix. I watch the first 10 laps, and then I'm asleep for the rest of it, purely because it is just so depressing and boring, and the same with a couple of the others. But I don't actually mind Long Beach due to the fact that there is opportunity. It's not just a follow the leader circuit. There are opportunities for them to make overtakes. So I think in that kind of situation, I'm hoping that we're going to see some nice overtakes. We're going to see some good racing. We'll see some fair racing as well. They've also been told that the AMs do not have to jump out of the way. There has been some dramatics this week about that situation. I have also asked the AMs, though, if their pro is caught them up, say he's 5 seconds back and he catches them, probably in their best interest to let him go. You might find something, but they do not have to jump out the way. And as I keep getting told, Alex, numerous amounts of times from drivers all over the world, it is on the passing car to get the pass done cleanly. So we're going to leave it as that at the moment, because that's another area of the iRacing rules and sporting codes that stresses me out. And me personally, just get out of the way. They're not affected, your championship, just move. But they've all been told that the AMs do not have to jump out of the way. So let's hope that stays with them as well.
Yeah, exactly. They've got to, they've just got to really be very, very mindful. I mean, it's effectively, there's the line that we're just seeing that Chris Barnes has just gone over. That's where they can start racing. But of course, they're better off taking it easier into that first corner, the 90 left at Toyota. It's just really, we've seen it time and time again, as there is our provisional pole set with 7 minutes to go. Dan Pepples, yet, if I remember correctly, James, to score a pole position in this series. We both know Dan very, very well personally, worked with him quite a lot, but it's good to see that he's giving us something to talk about, not just about him off of track, but actually on track as well. And that's really good to see that. It doesn't matter if you commentate within the community or you take part. It's nice to see someone else that is a pretty good commentator, but is now showing, hang on, my Merc's going to be wide going into turn 1, and that means the back end.
Yeah, well, that's the thing at the end of the day. For Dan, it was quite interesting talking to Dan, and I don't know if he played a bit of a mind trickery on me, where he was like, oh, I'm not going to be strong, I'm not going to be fast and all this. And well, to be fair, he's doing a pretty good job. Robert Stotton in the AMS is also doing a good job as well, decided that he wants to go and put it on pole. We're, believe it or not, 2,000ths of a second quicker than Mr. Peoples. So let's see how it goes there for them guys. But I think overall, it's just got to be sensible, I think, Alex, at the end of the day. If an AM is faster than you, please don't expect them to jump out the way. If the AM isn't faster than you, then I'm expecting the AM to try and facilitate the pass. That's what was told in the briefing, so let's hope that they can follow them rules as we go into the last 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think really also when it was discussed in driver's briefing, we've already had a question from one of the drivers saying, can we overtake before the line once the leader is gone? The answer will be a no on that one, because it's about getting a clean start, and especially with these barriers, and we've seen it before, James, that if you get yeeted or you end up outbraking yourself and end up smacking into the barriers, you're going to cause an mighty problem. So from my perspective, it's once that driver crosses the line, okay, if it's the front row, they can start battling, fair enough. But it's when you have to let everyone go through, and we're going to have the best part of nearly 12 rows, that's nearly 23 drivers going into turn 1. That is never easy to negotiate, especially when everyone's got the old adrenaline pumping through the veins. They're ready to get going. Everything's on tenterhooks. You know, from my interpretation of that rule is that once you go past that line, you can go racing. Is that right?
Yeah, once they're overtaking the line, you can start. You know, I just don't want them going before the line, which is what the main issue was. Basically, because we've asked them to go single file through the final corner, we want them to be able to line up fairly back in their positions again. And it's probably best that they start overtaking before they go, after they go over the line, because that's really when they're going to have, hopefully, the best opportunity. Once everybody's back in formation, I think that's the main thing. We've got 23 cars here. They've all got to go round the final quarter single file. They've all got to get back into formation. And then, once the leader crosses the line, they can go. I know it limits the overtakes down into turn 1, but I want to make sure everybody can get through. And I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure that everybody can get through cleanly enough to enjoy the racing, because there's been so many broadcasts I've watched at Long Beach, and I've watched him in IRL as well, where we're just trying to go too wide around the final corner just causes absolute drama. And we sit there and you just sit there and go, oh my God, what am I watching if pro drivers can't make it too wide around this corner? Why are we trying in a sim racing series to get them to go too wide? It's just unreasonable. And I think at the end of the day, we've got to be mindful of that situation, and we've got to make sure that they do all succeed in getting around that final corner.
Yeah, we don't want people doing a Simon Pagenaud like he did last year at the Fountain, where he was actually he was off and up and on, you know, all four wheels were in the air. So it's just a case of just minding yourself. You just got to really be, you're treading on eggshells. And in the meantime, Mikey Pollard, I think it was just after the 4 minutes to go mark, just put it on pole by 3/100ths of a second. So Pollard leads the way. Then Fonacciari leading Amp. Stoughton rounds out the top 3, followed by Pepples. Veeman, the overall points leader, in 5th. Miles Owens, that's both of the Sim Race Sweden cars in the top 6. So hopefully, if they don't strike drama here at Long Beach, they could be in for a good opportunity of some good points tonight for the Pro Teams Championships. Then we got Tunnel Automets, Deck Crowther, Ewan Bremer. Then we got Tristan Engelstad rounding out the top 10. Kim Andre Bjorklund, who put it on pole in race for race 1 at Fuji, and also set the fastest lap in race 1 last week, is currently all the way down in 11th. So the Porsche is not as dominant as we have seen over the rest of the season. So far, James. The Porsches are not having their own way, even though one's at the front. But then we've got 3 different manufacturers in the top 4. So Porsche, Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin. So that's 4 different manufacturers in the top 6. Nice to see a little bit of variety, as they say, and it is the spice of life in GT4s.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the thing. We've seen so many times a Porsche lockout 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's just like now everybody. I think, to be honest with you, Alex, more and more people are coming up to speed, and I think that's the thing. They're getting quicker and quicker as the season's going on, and that's why the line is where we are at the moment. That's why we're seeing Fornaciari and Stoughton up in 2nd and 3rd, because of the fact that they are just mixing it and getting faster and faster as the season's going on. So, all in all, it's great to see.
Engelstadt's really gone very, very quickly, and he's gone pole. 1:24.186 by the number 57. So Engelstadt puts in an absolute blinder at the BMW M4 GT4, just over 35 seconds on the clock. That is incredible. That, again, like you said, people getting up to speed, and Engelstadt aborts the lap going through the Fountain Park just off of turn 1 at Toyota. As we see Kim Andre Bjorklund not yet having him, well, goes green in sector 4, stays in 11th. That's going to be a fight back from him, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to do some scrapping to get his way through, but as long as he does it cleanly and doesn't do anything crazy, I think we will see great racing. So let's hope that Bjorklund there does make it all the way through and does have a good race. But here, dear sir, is the grid for you.
So it's race 1, round 7 here at Long Beach. Tristan Engelstad puts an arm on pole position by nearly a tenth and a half ahead of Mikey Pollard, who will be on the front row alongside. Nicolo Fornaciari and Robert Stoughton will be on row 2. Dan Pepples and Stone Veman, row 3. Miles Owens and Tano Oromets, row 4, with Dec Crowder and Ewan Bremer rounding out the top 10. Kim Andre Bjorklund starting all the way down on the inside of row 6 in 11th position. He's got triple played Oscars, Chris Barnes alongside Gordon Haig and Dan Babbage. That's row 7, with Rob Williams, Torbjorn Merler, Stuart Gibbons, Richard White, Stuart Rice and Stuart Pearson rounding out the top 20. Rachel Hoff, Andy Jones, and Michael Seal bringing up the rear of the field. And Andy Jones has already said in chat, it's fine, I'll be doing an Austin Powers turn in the hairpin. Well, you'll have to wait and see, but there are our drivers, folks. 23 of them. It's going to be 15 minutes, and we'll have the top 15 reverse grid for the feature. So even if Bjorklund doesn't have a good run in race 1, and he ends up 15th, that'll put him in really good stead for the feature a little later on. And they're going to start the formation lap from Seaside Way. Now, this is going to be crucial, like you said, James. Once the pace car starts pulling away, drivers through out of Indy left will then have to go through the right-hander that will bring them onto Shoreline Drive, and then we can get things going once they pass the stripe. And it's going to be crucial. As you said in the driver's briefing to the drivers, any wrong move on this start phase and you will cop a penalty, and it won't be a slap on the wrist, it will be draconian.
Yes, and I have warned them considerably that they cannot be overtaken on the warm-up lap. They need to all be single file, and at the moment, touch wood, they are all doing what they've been asked to do there as well. Iwan Bremer slots in behind. Here we go. Everybody is doing what they're supposed to. And I'm proud of all of my guys for listening in the driver's briefing. Thank you. You have made me very, very happy. Now Ingolstadt should go to the right-hand side. Here we go. We're all bunching up now as well. And we're going to be underway shortly.
Okay, once we get underway with the drivers heading underneath the bridge, well, Mikey Pollard, there they are into turn 1 at Texaco for the first time. Mikey Pollard gets an absolutely storming start going through T2 off the water fountain, and had capped Robert Stoughton by the end of turn 1 by 1.1 seconds. Oh no! Hard into the barriers. That is Torbjorn Mailer for... that was a big hit there. Well, there was that, and we've got Gibbons having dramas as well. So Torbjorn Mailer, gonna have a look. This is one of the 2 Sim Racing Norway cars. So got into turn 1, what would be the Acura corner. Oh, he gets a touch on the left rear and bang, spins him around hard into the barriers on the right hand side. And Gibbons, I think, got away with that one very, very lightly. But Mailer's probably got a lot more damage to contend with, and hopefully that car. It's going to be checking the steering, and hopefully everything's going okay. But in the meantime, Robert Stoughton leading the charge, the light brigade, going a little bit wider than Tristan Engelstad, who seems to have that beamer hooked up really, really well at the minute.
Yeah, he has at the moment as well. I'd like to point out, Stuart Gibbons did, as soon as he did that, he hit the brake, and he allowed them all, he allowed Torno Oromets to go back through. So that's why he was waiting there as well. Not Toro Oromets, Torbjorn Mele, sorry, to go back through. But we've got Dan Peebles and Tristan Engelstad scrapping it out here as well in the Am Pro fight. As we've been told, they do not have to move out of your way. Nicolo Fornaciari is there as well, putting on a good show, sitting in 5th at the moment. I do love the timing software on this one. When they go round the final corner, it picks up that they've all crashed. Could just be the fact that they're all slow. So...
Forget the off tracks, it's like wallop.
Yeah, he just literally turns around and says they've crashed, they've crashed, they've crashed, they've crashed. They haven't, they're just slow going around the final corner.
Oh, Dan Pepples! Dan Pepples is around! No! What happened there?
I think he's on the gas too soon here.
So
over the curb.
Oh, and it's just turned it around. Did he keep it out of the barriers? Yes, he did. Oh, thank goodness for that.
No, don't you even think about it. Oh.
Who was that coming through? Was that Richard White, I think?
It was in the Porsche there. I think it was Dan Babbage and Richard White making their way through, of course, from the Project 88 Pro and Am team here as well. So great racing at the moment. Miles Owens is holding off Kim-Andre Bjorklund. We're Torno Oromet's tucked up right behind in that BMW. He's doing a great job. Andy Jones said he's going to jump 12 by the time he gets past the first corner. Well, he hasn't. He's only made up 2 here and is stuck behind Michael Seals. So unfortunately for Andy Jones, he's told a fib.
No, he's just got the Family Fortunes buzzer coming his way on that one.
Yeah.
But Mikey Pollard being closed on him by Robert Stoughton, who is just picking his moments when to take a little bit of time out of the number 73 AI RaceSummaries.com Tracy car, who is leading. So we're on now lap number 3, but Stoughton did put in the fastest lap time, 1:24.629. And Engelstadt is keeping with the McLaren, so it's about 1.35 seconds covering the top 3. So they're going to go into what's called Tecate turn and then heading up to Pine Avenue before the 90 right onto Seaside Way. It's the back straight here at Long Beach. So yeah, it has been very, very calm so far, apart from the incident between Stuart Gibbons and Torbjorn Mele on the opening lap going through into the fountain section. But yeah, this could be a very interesting dynamic. We've got 3 manufacturers in the top 3, so Porsche leads McLaren from BMW, and Engelstadt seems to be a lot more composed than Stoughton, who's using the wider lines through some of the corners, including Firestone, have come off Seaside Way on the back straight. So, oh, we've had a moment. Is that Kim-Andre Bjorklund? I think it is.
Oh, they're not in a good spot. Not in a good spot. Let him go and then slot in. As well, good job. And then we had a 2 wide incident with Mikey Seal and Stuart Pearson, who have made it through. But I'm trying to see if that was Stu. It wasn't Stu Rice. I think no, it wasn't.
It was a Mercedes. I think it was a Mercedes that might have caused the problem, the incident. It might have been Ewan Bremer in the 36.
Let's see if we can pick up here who this was as well. Just trying to figure this one out. There's Chris. No. It was a that was a BMW, wasn't it? Yeah, Oromet. I think it was Kim-Andre Bjorklund goes first, coming into contact with Torno Oromet. I think Bjork. Oh, there was contact.
He's just punted him at the hairpin.
Yeah, and
then Chris Barnes got nowhere to go, and then Kim-Andre Bjorklund turns right, and Barnesi's having to squeeze through the
melee.
Through the type. Yes, the melee. Threading the eye of the needle was actually the phrase I was looking for. But he had to do that at a very, very slow rate of knots, whereas Tano Onomets has got Deck Crowther, Gordon Haig, closing in. This is the battle for 7th on the field. Put that person in front of it. 8th, they have got Ewan Bremer not too far behind in the number 36 Sweden Esports Porsche. Rob Williams currently running 5th in AM, number 93. He's made up 4 places. Richard White has made up 6. And Andrew Jones still languishing down at the bottom part of the top 20. The Austin Powers turn at the hairpin did not work, buddy.
No, he did not. He didn't quite make it through all the way where he wanted to. Richard White there, as well as him and Dan Babbage have been going at each other here as well with Richard White. That was actually Chris Barnes getting through. The Mercedes seems quite strong here. People's trying to make his way back through. Hopefully, well, he's got nothing on the front end of that car at the moment as Dan Peoples on the front of that Mercedes. Oh!
That was Stuart Rice.
Rachel Hoff.
Oh, Rachel Hoff. Oh, dear. Right, she's probably lost it on her own. Hits the curbing. It's got Pebbles just in front. So they go through the fountain section. Turns it right.
Oh, she does.
She clipped the curb on the inside of the exit.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately there as well for Rachel Huff. But Dan Peoples trying to get his way through here. Stuart Pearson he just moves out of the way. Again, one of the new drivers. He did say that he wouldn't get involved for me, the young man there. So Stuart Pearson doing a stunning job in the GT4. Like to point out, he bought that GT4 this afternoon. So, you know, he's getting his practice in at the same time as he bought the car. And Paddy Faulkner as well. Turn 1 is going to be epic. Well, I'd like to point out that they all made it through. Thank you very much for that one. Well done to all my GT4 boys there again. As Andy Jones comes around, who's got Dan Peoples in front of him and chasing him down there, and Stuart Pearson behind him in the Porsche. But yeah, Pearson only bought the Porsche, I believe, this afternoon.
Oh, that's a car on fire if ever I thought of it there, James. But we now go back to the battle at the front end of the field. Stein Wieman now 1.3 seconds off of Tristan Engelstadt. Continues to round out the top 3. Rob Stoughton in second, and yeah, Engelstadt really seems to have a bit more pace in that BMW, because Stoughton has been trying to close in on Pollard. It's not been that easy. We're on lap 6. They're heading down in towards the next right-hander here at Firestone. Indy left, that then brings them into the hairpin, and again you can see the difference in lines taken coming out of Firestone and into Indy left. Stoughton's trying to use momentum carry, whereas Engelstadt has just got the beamer planted and is just keeping within a car length and a half of the number 9 from the UK. So I think, well, Stoughton's trying to write Pollard off with the headlights, but that trick's been done to death. We've seen on many a sim race. But yeah, I mean, Bonacciari's just set a personal best in 5th position. And has just gone a 1:24.661, but it's Stein Wieman that has the fastest lap of anybody, 1:24.489. As again, Engelstadt is just really putting the pressure on Stoughton for that second place, and more importantly, YAM class win.
That's it at the end of the day. Stoughton and Engelstadt are battling away in the AM fight. Of course, these guys are very, very quick. Don't forget, we've still got that top 15 reverse, which is held from Michael Seal at the moment. Dan Peoples is going to know this and want this, but it's just, there's really, unless he can get close, of course his car is smashed. Look at the front end, there's nothing there. He's barely got lights for Dan Peoples there as well. So he's got to be a little bit mindful of that situation. We got Rob Williams up 4 places, Michael Seal up 8, and then we go into the 5s as well. Richard White up 5, Andy Jones up 5. Williams is up 4 with Gordon Haig in front here. Williams has got Chris Barnes, Triple Play Gamma and Oscar. So I'm hoping that they shouldn't be really fighting, and Williams has moved over and allowed Barnesy to go through.
And as you say that, Pepples has just got past, and then he's dropped. Then he's dropped again. Now, the thing is, backwards. Now, I'm hearing me. So he's gone toe-to-toe. He's gone towards... He's gone around the outside, trying to get the undercut, and he gets a touch on the left rear.
Yeah, that was a really difficult one on that one. I'm not entirely sure what would have been the best line, whether or not this line from both of them was a little bit of a problem. I don't really know on that scenario whether or not people should have been more to the right there, Alex. I think from my... I don't really know on that one. I'm a little bit confused on that one, which way that would go.
I think that might be a 50-50, possibly a race incident, because if that was Richard White he was battling with, wasn't it? So if White tried to put the power down and lost control of the vehicle, then unfortunately Pepples has been an unwilling passenger in that. Yeah, he could have been a little bit more to the right, but there was room for him to make the move. He saw the opportunity, and White went deep into the corner. So Pepples thought, well, I've got the opportunity to get the position. That's going to be 15th. Now he's dropped down to 21st. Andy Jones, the Austin Powers trick didn't work, but he's making some progress. He's up 6 places to 16th, and he's less than half a second behind Michael Seal. So the battle for 15th position is going to really help Andy Jones big time. Now, he did take the win in the feature. No, he was second in the feature last week, behind Richard Simrall. So, and funnily enough, folks, no Richard Simrall either this week, I've just noticed.
Yeah, he's pulled out of the season.
Okay.
He's still, he's withdrawn. He's still having computer issues at the moment as well. I believe that he had a 4090, which has caused him some issues. He then borrowed or got given one, I think it was, and then unfortunately it looks like that's also been causing a little bit of problems as well. He did put he said his GPU is having, well, there is a word in there that I won't repeat, but it's having a fit. So once again, getting rammed He's not going to make it because he doesn't want to put people in danger if his 4090 dies on him. So halfway through the race, so he's going to withdraw from the series until he can get that sorted out. So yeah, for Richardson, it's more PC issues rather than him withdrawing because he wants to. He's withdrawn because he didn't want to be a liability to everybody else. Oh, there you go. As I turn to the left, and Mikey Pierce has said, Thimnor's GPU is kaput.
And then he's gone, well, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
we can't have it
say
always.
one thing and then put that in.
It's like say possibly, you know what I mean? I think that's true. You think it's true or you know it's true, Mr. Pierce? What do you believe?
Yes or no answer will suffice.
Yes.
But let's concentrate on this battle for not just second overall, but also the AM class lead, as we are on to a minute and 40 to go. So this plus one additional lap. And Paddy Faulkner's just gone, yeah, I'm getting it sorted with a different one, laugh out loud. And Engelstadt right on the rear bumper. Rob Stoughton, they're going down in towards Tecate turn. Engelstadt was looking for a possible move up the inside. Thought better off it. Now up Pine Avenue before the 90 right onto Seaside Way for what will be the penultimate time. And as a result of that, all bit of a lock up on the right rear by Engelstadt. That's going to allow Stein Wiemann to start closing on him, but he's going to be ahead of the trio in front of him on the reverse grid top 15. Mikey Pollard, with a minute to go, has got a 2.5 second advantage. So while Stoughton and Engelstadt have been battling away, Mikey Pollard in the 73 car has rocketed into the distance.
Yeah, Mikey benefited from these guys fighting, to be fair. You know, at the end of the day, he's gone and done a bunk and he's run, which, to be honest, if he hadn't, I would have been very surprised by that factor as well. The fact that this circuit where you're battling, you lose so much time, that he has, you know, just managed to open up a gap. So I think from his perspective, he's done what he had to do at that specific moment. Kim Andre Bjorklund, on the other hand, is trying to chase down Stu Gibbons, who's also trying to chase down Stu Rice. So a lot more action still to have here, and a lot more action, I'm sure, out on track, ready to go once again, as they are now crossing the line and going round for the final lap here as well. Does the stream keep freezing for everyone? Yeah, I'm not having
any issues my side, so...
No, I'm not having any issues either.
No, so maybe other people are having internet dramas, who knows? But we now are with Stuart Gibbons, who's not too far behind Stuart Rice. This is a battle for 17th on the road. Timer hits 0 as these two come through into the fountain and into the next. Oh, glance on the wall on the right rear for the left rear for Stuart Rice, and he's lost it. I don't know if there was a little bit of assistance from Gibbo there, but could have possibly been the case. Oh, dearie me. And Kim Andre Bjorklund now manages to get through. So does Pearson. Mikey Pollard is going to win the opening race here on round 7 here at Long Beach by 2.6 seconds. Rob Stoughton, another class win in the AMS. Second overall ahead of Tristan Engelstadt with Stein Wiemann. Great debut for Nicolo Fornaciari in the number 19 Mercedes. Rounding out the top 5, completing the AM podium and completing the Pro podium in 6th position. Miles Owens from Sim Race Sweden takes 6th. But, well, that was a couple of dramas in that race, James. But, nevertheless, still some very good battles up and down the order.
Yeah, it was. And I think that's the thing, right? We managed to get through the race and we haven't had many dramas. So I'm happy about that. I'd rather see a race like this than one where we're sitting here completely embarrassed about the fact that none of them have made it round turn 1. Do you know what I mean? So I think overall it's been a nice race, and I think they've done really well. But yeah, I'm happy with what we've done at the moment, and I think these guys should be as well. So a good start to the evening's racing. We're just waiting for a few others to come over the line there. Rachel Hoff will be one of the final ones with Torbjörn Mele as well. So let's see how these all do and go from there. But I will bring the results up when it is ready, dear sir, which shouldn't be very, very long. But there you go, dear sir. All up and running for you there on screen.
So, round 7 at Long Beach, race 1, won by Mikey Pollard from AIRaceSummaries.com. Tracy, with Robert Stoughton taking another AM class win and looking to extend his lead over Tristan Engelstad, who was to nothing behind him. Rounding out the top 3 overall, Stein Wiemann helps to consolidate his lead in the Pro Championship, running 4th, that's 2nd in the Pro class. The privateer, Nicolo Fornaciari, in the number 19 Mercedes, takes 3rd in AM on debut, and also the fact that he takes 3rd in the AM class. Miles Owens, Deck Crowther, Tano Oromets, who has already apologised to Kim-Andre Bjorklund in the Discord chat, rounds out 8th, ahead of Gordon Hauger for Sim Race Norway, Bremer, Chris Barnes, Rob Williams, Richard White, Dan Babbage, Stuart Gibbons, Kim-Andre Bjorklund, Stuart Pearson, Mikey Seal, Stuart Rice, Andrew Jones, Dan Pepples. It's a race of what could have been. He finishes 21st ahead of Rachel Hoff and Torbjorn Mailer on that one. So the warm-up is very much underway here at Long Beach, ahead of our second race of the evening. Of course, the JPB GT4 World Series here in the good old America. So we have quite a lot of action still to come. We've got the 45-minute feature race coming up next, where all drivers will have a maximum amount of 50% fuel level in their GT3 ready to go for a 3/4 of an hour adventure around this 1.968 mile, 3.167 kilometer circuit. First used back, as I said earlier on, in 1975. It is one that really does test everybody. Of course, people were very, very mindful of the barriers, but we are getting into that stage in the championship where things could get a little bit dicey. Now, we still have 4 more rounds to go. Next week, on the 7th of February, we head to Bathurst at Mount Panorama for round 8. Then we go to Styria, to the Red Bull Ring on the 14th of February, with Mugello, the penultimate round, on the 21st of February. And then 28th of February, Twin Ring Motegi, with a 1-hour feature night race, concludes Season 3. And James, it has been a very, very interesting season so far. And I'm really, really happy the fact that the drivers, as you said in the first race, have been able to get up to speed. So Porsche, and especially with AI race summaries, Jesse and Tracy, not having it all their own way. And that first race tonight was a real exhibition of that.
Yeah, I think it was. I think, as I say, one of the major things was getting through turn 1. And I think that was the thing. Around the final corner, getting through turn 1, and they all did it cleanly. And that, at the end of the day, is, you know, they all should be proud of themselves anyway, because as we've seen, not many races do. But the racing has been good. The racing has been fair. We haven't really had mass dramas. We've had a few little taps where, you know, taps are going to happen. And I think that's the thing. You've got to be honest and realistic that somebody might not have the same braking zone that you've got. So at the end of the day, you've got to think, okay, well, maybe here they've got to, you know, brake a little bit earlier and be aware of that situation. But it's so hard to judge, because you sit there and think, well, I brake here, why are they braking there? And, you know, you've got to look at it. It's a whole kind of catalyst of events, isn't it? And I think that's the thing. You've got to look at the situation and the events around you as well. I think that's one of the things they've got to pay attention to.
Yeah, because this will be a little bit of a precursor, I think, reference next time out at Mount Panorama. Because, again, we're going to have a very different circuit. You know, power is going to be crucial, which will bring in the Mercedes' grunt with those 4-litre twin-turbo V8s under those very, very long snouts. The Falterbach's finest. So it is going to be a case of they've got to really, really watch their P's and Q's tonight, but it also sort of still prepare them for next week.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's, you know, a very interesting calendar. We are going to the Mount Panorama. We are going to the Red Bull Ring. We know that they voted out Rud Skogan, so that's going to be swapped for Mugello before we go to Twin Ring Motegi. Now, Twin Ring Motegi is going to be an interesting one, because although iRacing has turned around and said it has lights, I have been told that the race circuit itself only has lights to a certain degree. It doesn't have lights all the way round. So we are going to be thinking about what we're going to do there, whether or not that last one will change to another circuit with lights. At the moment, it seems that people have come out and said it's manageable, so that's good, but we will see on that one as well. But let's bring you up the grid for race 2 for the top 15 reverse.
So here we go, folks. It's going to be Stuart Gibbons on pole position for the reverse grid top 15 for race 2 here at Long Beach. Dan Babbage will be alongside on the front row with Richard White and Rob Williams, row 2. Chris Barnes and Ewan Bremer, row 3. Gordon Hauger and Talnor Oromets rounding out the top 8, with Dec Crowther and Miles Owens completing the top 10. Nicolo Fornaciari and Stein Veeman round out row number 6, completing the top 12 with Stuart Gibbons, well,
2 seconds,
them.
sorry.
That's okay.
It's going all a little bit funky.
Well, I'll run through it anyway. Tristan Engelstad, Robert Stoughton, they'll be rounding out the top 14. Mikey Pollard starts 15, ahead of Kim Andre Bjorkland, Stuart Pearson, Michael Seal, Stuart Rice, Andy Jones, Dan Pepples all the way down in 21st, Uhoff and Torbjorn Mailer completing 20 strong again. Mr. BF John was was earlier on saying something in the way of, I think this isn't a circuit, it's an accident waiting to happen. Well, Mr. BF John, I think they have proved you wrong in race 1. Let's see what race 2 has in the bag here, James.
Yeah, absolutely. And my money is on Barnsey. Go, Gibbo, go, go, go. Well, let's see here as well. They should all be filtered into their single files to make sure they all get through, and they have at the moment there as well. So all of them filtering in. We're going to keep a close eye, as we can see the whole field there as well. That's a blinding shot, that is. As they all funnel and filter round the final corner. The leader should back up a little bit. And then as they go under the Acura bridge, they can all start racing. So they're off and running there, Alex.
Yeah, so start line drama already. And who was that dropped down the order like a proverbial stone? Richard White. He got a turnaround. Who was that from? Possibly Hauger in the number 71 McLaren, I spotted. And then Hauger's threading the eye of the needle. There's the aftermath, and it just... So we're just going to see... Oh, no, I think it was Chris Barnes. So let's take a look at this. So they then get going. Barnesy powers it. Oh! Left rear. And Richard White is already...
That's
a slam dunk penalty, that is. That is penalty.
Yep. Slam dunk penalty because of the rule situation there as well. But there we go. We're all up and running. Gordon Haig still out in front here as well. So there we go. Gordon Haig leading the way by 2.67 seconds, with Williams in fourth, being chased down by Elon Bray.
And Andy Jones is also in the pit lane as well, so he might have been caught out as a direct correlation of that incident. He started 20th, so I'm going to another replay.
Andy Jones's replay.
Here he's going to lose it.
He's going to hit the wall.
Bang! Left front takes a wallop, and that'll be steering. And
Dan Babbage.
God. Dan Babbage as well. He's down in 19th, and Dan Pepples, as a result of that, is now currently P12 and climbing the order. So, yeah, it's not. Yeah, again, the first race is a personification of how to negotiate your way around here at Long Beach. It seems like a couple of people have just lost their minds a little bit into race 2 here, because it's a 45-minute race with a mandatory pit stop, and that is not going to help you at all. Especially if your name is Chris Barnes, because he, straight away by the helicam, it was clear as day. Everyone was told in the driver's chat, you cannot overtake until you go past the line after the Acura bridge.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, folks, and I hate to do this to Chris. Done really, really well over rounds and seasons past. That was a mistake on his part. He's going to have to pay the piper for it.
Yes, I'm afraid there will be a penalty incoming on that one as well, and the stewards, I'm sure, will be paying close attention, and it will be dealt with after the race. So for Chris Barnes, unfortunately, dear sir, there was a penalty possibly coming your way. So there we go. But Ewan Bramer picking up in 4th at the moment, with Chris Barnes, funny enough, behind him here as well. That's where he should have gone, but he didn't. He went a little bit early. So unfortunately, there as well. It's going to be some great racing as Barnes does go and overtake Ewan Bramer here with Fornaciari behind him.
Yeah, I think also Gordon Haig might have jumped the start himself, because he profited. I mean, if you go back to what happened behind that. So you see Barnes there. Now, look from this perspective. See, so Barnes, and look, Gordon Haug's going to get a penalty as well. I've got a
question. I've got a question, and I'm wondering about this, because if you look at the path of Gordon Haig, he hasn't got anywhere to go. He either slams on the brakes and waits for that whole right line to start, or not. What does he do?
I think it's going to be down to the stewards. I think for me, I think if I'm completely honest, if I was a steward and I was looking at that objectively, forget the incident that's just happened in front. They could be saying to Gordon Hauger, right, if he says, well, my defences, I've got nowhere to go, but he was accelerating. He was accelerating to anticipate. So that's where they could hit him.
Well, we'll get them to look at it there as well. But yeah, that's definitely going to be a tough one. As Stein Veerman and Mikey Pollard on the same team, scrapping it out, coming down into turn 1 here, Alex. Some great action so far from the AI Race Summaries boys. That is Mikey Pollard there as well. So nice little action here with Dan Peoples and Kim Andre Bjorkland behind that, and Tristan Engelstadt behind that one. Mikey Seal up 5 places. Great job from him. Rob Williams sitting in the lofty heights of 3rd at the moment. The cork in the bottle, holding up Chris Barnes and Niccolo Fornaciari. So Rob Williams there he's either doing really well, or he's just playing the game and sitting in the position that he doesn't have to get out of the way of.
Well, exactly. He's got the racing line. As you said, as they were told in the driver's briefing, you do not necessarily need to get out of the way, but it is down to the faster traffic to make the move nice and cleanly. If they don't do that, then they can incur the wrath of stewards post-race. So this is the battle for 3rd with Williams, Barnes, Fornaciari again just showcasing really, really good prowess, and is looking for a double bubble when it comes to podiums on debut. And Ewan Bremer is...
there was sorry to cut over you there, Alex. There was a little bit of contact going on at the back here with Dan Peoples, and I think it might have been with Mikey Pollard. There's a big old flash of the lights from Peoples. Not entirely sure what that situation was for and whether or not it was going to cause any more of an issue, but I think this could be the initial build-up to this situation here. They're coming round now. They're going to go round the left-hander into the final corner. Oh, Dan, you can't flash. That's almost 3 wide. Why are you going 3 wide? I don't physically understand this. There is no point. Where is Pollard going to go? And I'm sorry, that is just ridiculous.
That's heat of the moment reaction from Pepples. That's heat of the moment reaction, because Bjorkland threw the Hail Mary around the outside, had enough room to do it, and made the move stick on Pollard. Pollard was always going to turn in on Pepples. He was always going to go, well, sorry, mate, that's my line. I was actually a car length in front. So Pepples, if he was halfway alongside and it was door-to-door contact, I could understand it. But in that case, it wasn't. And they showed through the helicam footage.
That's what I mean. They're just... Sometimes you've got to think as a driver, what is going to benefit me and what isn't going to benefit me. What isn't going to benefit you is trying to go 3 wide round a corner where I've told everybody they're being single file on a parade lap, and that's when they're doing barely 50 miles an hour. So if they're barely doing 50 miles an hour, you don't want to be trying to go 3 wide, and that is just a driver's thing of thinking about what you're doing. That isn't thinking about what he is doing. That's trying to take a position in a most unlikely place on the racetrack. It's just crazy. I do get sometimes completely frustrated and lost for words. All of these guys can drive, Alex. I think that's the annoying thing. All of them can drive on their day. Are they perfect? Hell no. Are they robots? Absolutely not. Do they make mistakes? 100%. Yes. But forcing a mistake on yourself because you've decided to be silly, that's on you. You've got nobody else. And to go on the light splashing, take a look in the mirror. It's just ridiculous. You can't be doing that. As corresponds, Rob Williams here as well. This is on board with Ivan Bremer's Porsche. He's fighting away with Williams as well. So no, it's a little scrap involved in his. I want to jump down all the way to here because I'm very interested to see what's going on with Stu Gibbons, with Robert Stotton, Stu Gibbons and Rachel Hoff. Apart from fighting it out like absolute troopers in the arms and Rachel Hoff not giving up an absolute bit of racetrack there for Robert Stotton, as Stotton now takes a dive up the final corner. So there we go.
Oh, they come to contact with the hairpin. Deary me, it's like two. And is that right? Who was that on the right? Oh, that's Rob Stotton.
It was Stotton.
Yeah. Well, also I noticed that Tristan Engelstadt lost a position to Mikey Seal. Now, going to see these three battling again into the hairpin. Stotton up the inside. Bang! There's the contact. Oh, and he's had a. Oh, Stotton's been hit into the wall.
Hold on. Oh. Hold on. Hold on.
That was more than one incident there. That was two or three touches between.
Watch Stu Gibbons, Alex. Just 2 seconds. He comes around the corner. There's one bang there. Oh, he might have just got away with that, I think, Stu Gibbons. I think he was close to making contact, but it just get away. So great job, well, I suppose from Stu Gibbons, a great job there as well. But I think at the end of the day, you know, still some great action. We've still got drivers on there. I have got an update on Richard White. Apparently he's in the pits, partly due to the fact that his fast repair isn't working. Now, whether or not he didn't check that, oh no, I think because I hadn't crossed the start line when I went to the pits, maybe. So his fast repair didn't check.
So that's a return to garage, which instantly takes you off the server, so to speak, or takes you out of the race session. That's a real shame. I mean, the thing was with the contact between him and Chris Barnes, you know, the incident happened before the actual place where we said this is where the race is going to start. Because the contact happened, and Richard was pointing left after the smack, behind on the left rear. Tauno Oromets hits the left rear, coming out of, or coming through out of the right-hander off of Pine Avenue, spanks the left rear into the barriers, and Kim Andre Bjorklund says, "Thank you very much, that'll do."
Yeah, he's gone through there. Tauno Oromets in that BMW, of course. His favourite car, he was in it last season, and he's in it again this season here as well. Steinwiemer making inroads on Rob Williams, but not enough for Rob to really panic. Stein on a 125.42. Saying that though, Rob was on a 126.22, so he did lose a lot of time. And I think here as well that obviously Rob will probably make the smart decision because he has got a big old group of cars in front of the, behind him before they hit Tristan Engelstadt. So he doesn't have to make an instant move out the way. And I think he will be looking at trying to facilitate the pass at the same time. I did not start when cars behind went wild. So all that briefing was. So all that. I'm expecting a word on the end of that, Mr. Babbage, as well. And we have picked up, and as we did say in the briefing, there will be penalties incoming for the people that jumped the start. Okay, so be aware, over the next few days, the penalties will be announced. I did tell everyone that, and I absolutely said you are not allowed to go until you cross the line. So be aware. I know you've been murdered, and I apologise deeply for that one. I wasn't in the car, but they have all been warned that penalties will be incoming. Mikey Seal has unfortunately crashed here and has gone back to the garage once more. Oh, he's bounced the curb, he's hit the wall, his steering's gone, he's got nowhere to go, and there is a wall and a tyre back.
Oh, Or did he collect? Engelstadt got away with that one.
Just.
By the skin of his virtual BMW Nomex.
Yes.
Dan Pepples has also been in the pits for about 10 seconds. Robert Stoughton has, so has Ewan Bremer, so they've possibly all suffered a little bit of damage there. And yeah, well, the front bumper, no surprise there. That car is missing and adrift and on the circuit. So Chris Barnes now on lap 9 pits from the sharper end.
They're all coming in. Chris Barnes, Orametz, Engelstadt and Miles Owens is coming in as well. So they're all coming into the pits, or the main protagonists at the front at the time they've entered the pit lane. And don't forget, it's a very tricky one. It's off the final corner and then you've got to head to the right-hand side. So, you know, there will be, it's a very difficult pit lane here as well. We have lost Dan Babbage and Andy Jones as well. So unfortunately for them guys, they have been out of the race. Andy has come out and said, can I protest myself for spinning completely on my own with nowhere around and hitting the ball? If he feels he really wants to, go for your life. Andy, there as well. You're more than welcome to protest yourself for being a plonker. There we go.
Well, if he wants to do that, he can hoist himself by his own petard. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one as we're going into this pit stop cycle now as well. Rob Williams did lose that place to Stein Veerman, but we're really not surprised. And Stein's also cleared Kim Andre Bjorkland at the same time. I know. The fixer that's clearly run out.
I know, or it's not working. But yeah, I think you know, this circuit has been, you know, it has been a bit of a tall order for everyone to get to grips with quite early. And you know, the drivers that we saw in qualifying, like say Dan Pepples, who at one point about half the sessions ago was running in pole position, and then ends up fourth, and then has a drama in the first race, and now he's in 14th, but we've had up to at least 50% of the field at least come into the pits once. Stuart Gibbons has come in twice, so I think this is going to be a case where some of the drivers are going to find themselves lapped by the checkered.
I think it's a possibility, yeah. We have got 45 minutes, so I'm not going to say that they're not there. We've lost Gibbons and Seal as well. I'm trying to find the Stu Gibbons incident. Of course, it's a bit difficult when the timing software classes everybody as having a crash when going around the final corner because they're really slow. But this was Stu Gibbons here as well in the Merc. I'm wondering what he got up to on that run down into turn one. You've got to be careful on the... Whoa, just completely misses where he's going there and then moves out the way. Does he doesn't three-point turn it. No, he just jumps straight to the pits after that as well. I think Stu Gibbons may not be a lover of this circuit. It's Torbjörn Mele going with Stu Rice and Nicola Forniciari.
Yeah. So at the minute, Gordon Hauger leads the way by 6.8 seconds in 71 McLaren. Beck Crowther and Stein Veerman. So top three drivers covered by about close to 13 seconds. Mikey Pollard has the fastest lap of the race, so the gaps have really sort of stretched out a little bit, apart from between Rice, Millet and Forniciari, covered by about 1.2 seconds. And there they are back for the final three positions in the top 10. But more importantly, it's for fourth in AM. And Forniciari has really come in. And again, when we see new drivers and we see someone like Forniciari who's able to get a handle and muscle the Mercedes GT4 around this circuit to really put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons. And now he's going to try and go for a move up the inside. That's going to be a bit of a squeeze, and they both spin around.
Well, that moment, Alex, where you turned around and said he's put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons, and unfortunately he definitely did on that one here as well. As he goes up the inside, he is rightfully there, mind you, and he's rightfully alongside, and that's exactly what I said to you about when we followed that lap of Stein Veerman. Two completely different lines, and two lines that they've got to be careful. If he goes to go up the inside, that Torbjörn Mele on the outside has got to go through.
And Forniciari has just returned to garage. He's just absolutely belted the So obviously damage after that incident there, and now looking forward.
Got nothing, is he? Like, and then he hits the tyres, doesn't he? Yeah.
Turns right, no steering, bang. Left-hand side gets a proper wallop all the way down it, and that's all she wrote. And that's a real shame for Fonacciari, who did a great job finishing the top, finished 5th, and overall, more importantly, finished 3rd in the AM classification. Torbjörn Mele, in the meantime, has started last and is now 9th ahead of Chris Barnes, who has dropped to 5th position. Barnes is also pitted as well, so the last driver out of the entire field that has yet to do it, well, the lowest placed driver is currently 11th. That's Rachel Hoff, who's just dropped down to 13th position because you got Bremer and Peppels. It's the Sim Race Sweden tag team, a Porsche and a Merc.
Yeah, well, that might be a tag team, but they've got to look at a bigger situation. That's what Torbjörn Mele should have done with Fonacciari. ran it wide and gone through there as well. Out of the front, Deck Crowther has just gone and pitted. Kimon Joe Bjortland up 13, up 10 for Stein Veman here as well. But that's probably what he should have done the first time when he was going side by side. You know, not an ideal way here as well. But I think at the end of the day, there's still some great action coming out here. Torbjörn Mele now with Dan Peoples and Ewan Bremer behind him. So some nice little interesting battles still materialising. And we're going to have the pit stop cycle. Deck Crowther has pulled a master stroke. He's gone in, got his pit stop done, and is just on his way out. I don't know if he's going to lose a place here to Chris Barnes. I don't think he is. I think Crowther, out of that pit stop cycle, only lost a couple of places, and he is now in the highest position of the people that have pitted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a bit of a masterstroke there for the 167. He rejoins in 8th place. Torbjörn Mele has been is now behind Dan Peppels and Ewan Bremer, 2 Dutchmen representing Sim Race Sweden. So we'll see how they get on. We've got 20 minutes completed, 25 to go, and the lap times between Stein Veman and Gordon Hauger, it's about a 10th between them, as we've had a car go around. And who has just dropped? That looks to be
Rachel Hoff.
Rachel Hoff in the 4. Right, okay, so might have just lost it on the road.
Going to be the bump on the inside.
Yeah, there's
too much curb.
Yeah. Oi!
Stop. Oh.
Squeaky bum time.
Yeah, now the only problem is this 3.7 thousand maneuver turn here as well, because it doesn't give you a lot of room. It's like trying to turn at Monaco in an F1 car. You're never going to make it. So
I think I've come up with the right turn for it. Forget the 3.7 million turn, it's the infinity turn.
Yes, that works. Because it is, isn't it? You're almost like Austin Powers, where he's in that golf cart and he's stuck up the corridor and he's like, to me, to you, to me, to you. And he's trying to turn the wheel, but he's not actually going anywhere.
It's like literally hitting one post, then another, and it's like forwards and backwards and forwards. But yeah, it's been quite interesting. Also, interestingly enough, Dan Peppels is only 1 3/4 seconds behind Chris Barnes, and last time round was over a 10.5 quicker. Ewan Bremer is about a second behind his teammate, is running the best part of nearly 0.5 of a second slower. Mikey Pollard's now got the fastest lap of the race, 1:24.203. And he's closing in on Rob Williams. The gap is about between 2 and 2.5 seconds. So yeah, at the minute, right, Rob Williams now in pit lane. So that brings Pollard up to 4th. So Pollard will find him, Pollard now ahead in 4th position, running at the top 3 in Pro. Stuart Pearson and Stuart Rice. Pearson, I think, might get the jump on Williams, who has yet to hit the, and he has done so. So Williams in the box at the minute. This could be very nip and tuck. Rice, I think, Rice is now pitted. Yep. So Crowther might get a little bit of an opportunity to get past Williams.
He did.
And he did.
Yeah, Williams isn't... This pit lane is so long for these guys. It's such a long pit lane that it is going to be struggling. He needs to get out in front of Torbjörn Mele, which he should... No, he isn't going to. Torbjörn Mele has gone out. No, hold on. Gone past him in the pit lane. So has Torno Oromets, but of course Oromets is a different class. Pearson hasn't pitted. Torbjörn Mele hasn't pitted either. So Williams could technically go back into second in class here once these guys start making their pit stops. So although he's in fourth, he hasn't got to panic because Torbjörn Mele, who's further up the road, and Stuart Pearson, who's further up the road, have got to pit. So all in all, still looking a bit good for Rob Williams here as we'll keep hold of Ewan Bramer and Dan Peoples.
Yeah. That means Bremer's ahead of Eccles. What on earth's happened? Well, Dan's
This
just...
is what happened, Alex. I can tell you this as well.
we had a mare, sector 2. Okay, this is going to be into the 90 right.
And lets him go.
Yeah. Lets him go. Oh, and did he clip? I think he clipped the barrier on the right hand on the right hander coming into Seaside Way. I think I saw a puff of smoke or something sidewall of the tyre. So I think it's just a case that these two just need to, keep on keeping on, run as a team. The thing is also, both Bremer and Eccles have also pitted. They pitted quite early in this race. So I'm wondering if they're deciding to go for a different strategy. They decided, well, let's go out for a shorter first stint and then brim the tanks and see how the cars evolve over that. Now I'm wondering when that actually happened.
Lap 7. Lap 7 and lap 8. I think they pitted. This is the thing. They pitted at about 35, 37 minutes remaining. It's very early to get to the front, to get to the end of the race on 50% fuel from there. Kim-Andre Bjorklund has just got in. They must be running this dry, like literally to the dying depths of the fuel tank, the guys up front, because they can't have much left. And I would be surprised. So what have they gone? They've gone 30 minutes, and now they're coming in. Pepples and Bramer have got to go 35.
I think splash and dash might happen. And Kim-Andre Bjorklund pits from third in the pro class. Yeah, I think Long Beach has a very long, well, it has a long,
very long
pit road, just like Spa-Francorchamps whenever we go there. And that's a pain in the backside at the best of times.
Yeah, Bjorklund has come out, but is he going to be able to come out in front of Barnes? Barnes is full pace here, Alex. Oh, no. Barnes has got him.
By about a second. So, nice little undercut there from Chris Barnes, who's currently running fourth in the pro class. So, Veenman leads pro, 11 seconds ahead of Mikey Pollard. Deck Crowther completing the top three. Gordon Hauger, who not only is leading an AM, but is also at this moment in time en route to victory. And is 11 seconds ahead of Veenman. But I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Veenman and Pollard, because when Hauger decides to pit... Now, if I remember correctly, have we ever had an AM overall winner here in the JPB GT4 series? I don't think we have.
No, not at the moment. I don't believe there has been one.
But even if Hauger does, it will be effectively a provisional result, depending on what stewards decide to race with that Malay in the first lap. Well, actually, the start and finish straight.
Yeah, there will be post-race penalties coming in. I have spoken to Dan Lewis. All results that go out tonight will be provisional pending penalties.
Okay, so it's good to hear. This race control team will be on hand. Pepples has just put in a 1 minute 23.949 fastest lap of the race, and that was faster than anybody in qualifying. So good run there by Pepples. He's got past Ewan Bremer and is gapped in by nearly a second and a half, and the next person on his hit list will be Kim-Andre Bjorklund, who is now 6.5 tenths of a second behind Chris Barnes. So could Pepples make a bit of, not a meal of it, but make the best of it.
But it's whether or not he's got to pit again.
Yeah,
it's whether or not he can get through. I think it was 37 minutes. Mikey Pierce, can you go 37 minutes on a 50% tank of fuel? That's going to be the question here as well, as Kim-Andre Bjorklund is right up behind Chris Barnes at the moment as well. So Chris Barnes has got the Norwegian 4 company there as well.
Yeah, they're making their way through into right-hander at Firestone before Indy left. Piercy says, depends on track, but I'd say so, yes. So, folks, brace yourself for a possible Fuel Strat 3000 incoming from Simrace Sweden with Peppels and Bremer. But the thing is, we still have 17 minutes to go. So they've got to be very, I mean, Dan hasn't helped himself a little bit by doing the fastest overall lap of anybody in this race. And also the evening, including pole position in qualifying, that was taken, if I remember correctly, by Mikey Pollard. So I think what he wanted to do was get a little bit of distance between himself and his teammate, because what I said to you, look, I'm the faster vehicle, I need to start moving forward. And if he's gone, yeah, no problem, I'll let you through. They're nearly 2 seconds apart of each other now. So this will give Peppels the possibility of having some clean air. And look who's ahead of him, Bjorklund and Barnes. They're going through into Tecate Turn, down through into Pine Avenue. So this could be the opportunity that if Bjorklund is going to be finding himself held up by Barnes, that's now going to give Peppels the incentive to try and close on in and try and get a potential overtaking move done. But well, Bjorklund's a bit too far away to try and get the move up the inside into the 90 right at Firestone Turn coming through now.
Yeah, it's not going to make it through. The interesting thing for Barnes is, Barnes is letting go. Whether or not that was just the fact that Bjorklund was quicker, Bjorklund did get that pass done. The interesting thing here is, where is De Crowver going to come out after Stuart Pearson, Mikey Pollard, Stein Veman and Gordon Haig pit? Because at the moment the pit lane time is showing between 49 and 51 seconds. Now that's due to the fact that that's a long stop, but as we know, we can take that golden and say Crowver is only 50 seconds back from Gordon Haig. It's going to be tight that he can win it, but as we know, with timings on pit lanes, they can really just jiggle around all over the place. So Piercy's backtracked. He said Silverstone 100% is an hour and 6 minutes, so 50% would be 33 minutes. Bit better on the old throttle, which probably doesn't mean setting the fastest lap. Throttle control could eke out another lap. That said, fixed setups are maybe not. Close for sure. I wouldn't rule 37 minutes out. So Piercy's our kind of pit lane roving reporter, as Mikey Pollard's is in the pits now as well. And the problem is for Chris Barnes is Kim-Andre Bjorklund has got past him, but he hasn't pulled away. So Barnes kind of sat there saying, look, dude, you're backing us into peoples here. He's pulled out a second and a bit over the last few laps, and now we're going to end up in this battle here as well that I don't really want to be in. As you can see, Peoples has pulled out nearly 9 tenths over the last lap alone.
Yeah, that's the crucial point. I mean, the main of Barnes is going to let Peppels go. He pulled straight away coming out of the hairpin to try and get out of the way. Peppels unable to take advantage of it, but he will now. But Barnes will have the inside line into turn 1. Be not Toyota, but probably now be called Acura because of Acura Long Beach Grand Prix. And Barnesy still gets the inside line. Dan Peppels does not need to try and force the issue. Oh, and he does!
Let it back through.
A little bit of a touch between the pair.
Let it back through. And he does do that there as well. Well done to you there, Mr. Peppels, as well. You did touch him and spin it. And slide in there as well. But Crowver, where are you going to be in conjunction? Pollard lost a chunk of positions. He's now down 7th in class, 9th overall after going into the pits. So Crowver at the moment is in a very good spot here to score some very good points for himself. If he can just keep it on track a little bit longer, and he should be able to jump Pearson. Whether or not he's going to be able to get in front of Veman, or whether or not he's going to be able to get in front of Haig, well, at the moment, the gap to Haig is 49 seconds.
Pearson's pitting.
So Crowver should get in front of Pearson here as well, which he will do. He has cleared him already. So for him now, it's 49 seconds to Gordon Haig. This is going to be a very close run here. I can't... well, Haig's got to take less fuel, so he might be able to get the pit lane time. Let's have a look and see what Pearson's is, I think, now, Alex, to be able to get a rough idea of where Haig's going to come out.
Yeah, 12.3 seconds for Stuart Pearson, and that has dropped him all the way down to 13th on the road. Rob Stoughton will be closing in on him, and he's about 7. Well, the time is quickly changing in the favour of Robert Stoughton, and I think Pearson will be down behind Stoughton in 14th. He's gotten out. It could be close between the pair.
Haig's in the pits.
So Haig's in the pits now. So Veman now gets promoted to the race lead. So this could give an opportunity, I think.
Crowd was a long way away, though, Alex, here.
Yeah. It's 40.
Don't know how close he's going to be able to get here. Coming around the final few corners, Haig's on his way out. But how close is it going to be? Because that's still a long run down to that pit exit. There's the exit line. There is Deck Crowther coming around the final corner. Haig's going to get out just. Is he going to be able to? How close is he going to be, though? Crowther comes over the line. Haig should be coming down into turn 1. We'll see. Should see Crowther in the background just there. And with that post-race penalty coming in, I would have thought, for Gordon Haig as well, that could promote Deck Crowther to the win.
That could very well do. I think you're right there. But it also depends on how long Veman's going to stay out, because we're 11 minutes until the end of the 45 here at Long Beach, round 7. So Mikey Pierce comes in, goes, Gilles Pitts can be a massive difference, though I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think I worked out something like 8 seconds
Veman's in.
extra. So Veman's in. Hey.
And he just got in, mind you, there as well.
Yeah.
Crowther is on his way round turn 8, coming down to 9. Veman's still not stopped here as well. Haig's pit lane time was about 52 seconds. Haig should retake the lead, but I think it's going to be very, very close with Crowther and Veman here. Veman's on his way out. Crowther's coming around the final corner. Veman's got that long run that he's just got to sit and wait for before he can get out here. Where is he? There's Haig there in the McLaren.
Haig's got through. He did the right strat.
There's Crowther, there's Veman.
This is going to be close. Veman's going to keep second. So this could be that Veman might get the win, but he's got to be very, very careful the next 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Of course, with the fact of having gone into the pits, the tyres will be a little bit colder for Veman, whereas Crowther's up to full racing speed. And Crowther's last lap was a 24.7. So Veman now is just, and we know what Stein's like. He can switch the tyres on very, very easily in that Porsche, and that's what we've seen from AI race summaries, Tracy and Jesse for this season and the previous season, where they've been able to really get up to speed very, very quickly. So I'll be quite interested on how quickly Veman gets up to speed, because the gap between him and Hauger is only just under 6 seconds. Now, with 9 minutes to go, let's say, for instance, 1 minute 25 per lap. Let's round it up to, probably about 6 or 7 laps at most, I would, that we have of racing in this feature. So, Crowther, however, is right with Veman coming out of the final corner. The Porsche gets the power down a little bit better, but the Merc will have the longer legs when it comes to the absolute torque on that Mercedes-AMG GT4. He's getting to within 8.5 tenths of a second as they go through Bridgestone, head their way down towards the first corner. So it's about whether Crowther decides to go on the attack against Veman. If they start working together a little bit, can they start pulling that gap to Hauger down? Because it's around 6 seconds. We've got 8.25 minutes to go. I think that could be a bridge too far.
Yeah, I think it could be here as well. It's just gone back out to 6 seconds after coming down here as well. I want to give a shout out to Stu Gibbons, and the reason I want to shout out Stu Gibbons is the message that I've just read. I started from the pits because I killed 2 people to end up in pole, and that's not the way I like to race. Apologies to Stu Rice and Torbjörn Mele there as well. So Stu Gibbons gave up a pole position to start from the pits because he had incidents with both of them drivers. So fair play, Stuart Gibbons. Well done, mate. I praise you on that one.
Yeah, 100% completely agree with that. The sporting thing to do, and yeah, it hasn't been an easy run for Stuart anyway, because he started on pole, finished 15th in race 1. Yeah, I mean, I think it's now Hauger's running away with this provisionally to race victory. Lap 27 this race here. It's 2 out of round 7 JPB GT4 World Series, Long Beach. And yeah, it's going to be between Crowther and Wienman. And Crowther, again, just has been pretty good around this circuit here today. First race didn't go all his own way, but to be possibility of going for the pro win against the current points leader would fire a warning shot across Stein Wienman's bow, because then he'll go, well, hang on, this Porsche was strong at the beginning of the season. We seem to be losing our advantage. And that very much, as you said, rightly so, James, that everyone else has gotten used to the cars. They might have switched cars between Season 2 and Season 3 to what they have now. That's been the proof in the pudding. When you get some people that come in the first half of the season, they're getting up to speed. And then it's when you get past that halfway point, everything turns on its head by the sixpence. And, you know, I never thought I'd be saying Det Crowther and Stein Wienman battling for the pro lead as Dan Peppels looking up the inside of Chris Barnes through into Firestone. And that is the move done by the 129 from Simrace Sweden. Good move there. Nice and cleanly done by Dan Peppels. And he's not going to go and be able to chase after Kim Andre Bjorklund, who's 5.3 seconds up the road with 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go. But that was a clean move. Peppels just timed it nicely, and Barnes didn't really fight it too much.
Yeah, I don't think... The thing is, right, is Chris Barnes isn't... I want to put it politely. He's not stupid. And he knows where and when and who and not to fight. And if Barnes didn't feel he was in that fight to scrap alongside people's, then there's no point him going into that fight. He's got to maintain a position where he is. You know, so for Barnesy there as well, he's done the right thing by allowing people to go through, but at the same time not doing anything silly. So I think for him, it's now just maintaining the gap that he's got. Crowther and Wienman are not coming down below 8 tenths at the moment. Pearson and Stotton, however, are going at each other. This is for 4th and 5th in class, but I also know that Stuart Pearson is not going to fight massively unless Stotton makes a mistake, because Pearson is new to the series this week and has said that obviously he will not get involved in the championship fight. So if Stotton is out in front in the championship, I don't expect Stuart Pearson to fight unless Stotton makes a ridiculous mistake.
Yeah, Wienman and Crowther have just set their fastest laps of the race respectively. 1:24.645 for Wienman, 24.676 for Crowther. Yorkland's running on a 24.9, Peppels 24, Barnes 25.2. Well, Peppels and Barnes 25.2 respectively. Mikey Pollard has just got past Ewan Bremer, who's probably thought, well, I'm not going to fight him because he was right up my rear trumpets. Automet's 9th, Owens, so all 3 Simrace Sweden cars look to be finishing in the top 10 positions, because Miles Owens got a comfortable buffer between himself and Tristan Engelstadt, who's about 4.5 seconds behind. But yeah, Pearson, you know, got to give credit where credit is due to, you know, not only by the Porsche Cayman GT4 this afternoon, but come in and you know, just try and get some laps in. This could be a sign of something very, very exciting to see how Stuart Pearson gets on for the rest of the season, starting with Mount Panorama next week, James. I mean, it's great, as I said. Boniciardi not having a good run, retired on lap 12 despite having got a top 3 podium in the AM, and then top 5 overall in race 1. But, you know, I like it when we get new drivers in and we get some more names added to the smorgasbord JPB GT4 series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the newer drivers, you know, this evening have come in and done what they needed to do. And I think that's the thing. They've all, you know, said that at any points they wouldn't get involved in the fight, you know, which is fair enough. And the likes of Stuart Pearson hasn't. Nicola Forniciarios, of course, we know what happened to him. He hasn't. But, and obviously for Gordon Haig, that's going to be up for debate whether or not he thinks he's going to take the overall win, because obviously I'm sure there's going to be at least a 40-second penalty incoming on that one for jumping that start line there as well. So that's going to be up for discussion. But I think they've all taken it on board of what they've come into. And I think at the end of the day, they've all been a little bit more sensible. And I think that's the thing for the likes of Pearson here as well. So it's a good job from all of these guys, really. And I think overall, the racing going forward into next year as well, the GT4s will just stay as GT4s. There was a conversation about a multi-class series with the LMP3s. We've decided against that, and we will just stay as GT4s. The racetracks have been decided already. There is Stuart Rice, who I believe who is racing in the GT4s, has come in and has admin and has taken control of the series and has come up with a great calendar for next season. I can confirm though as well, Alex, the format will stay the same. As Stuart Rice has said, if the format's not broke, why try and fix it?
100%, and I'm looking forward to seeing what calendar we have for Season 4. It's always a pleasure to see GT4s in action here on JPB, and it's always a pleasure to work alongside yourself. So, you know what? I'm going to say something now. I'm going to stick on for Season 4, buddy.
Yeah.
But we are coming down to the final minute of the race, and Gordon Hauger is 50% of the way through the lap. So we've got this and one more to go. So we'll hit 32 laps of completed racing. But of course, as James said earlier on, ahead of Dan, who's heading up the stewarding team, has said the results will be provisional pending further investigation. Of course, they've got a lot to dissect over this second race of the evening, as we still are with Stuart Pearson, who is holding station behind Rob Stoughton, and Rob Stoughton having taken the win in the AM class in race 1 earlier on. Well, that's not going to be the case here tonight, and I think there's a 40-second penalty incoming for Gordon Hauger post race 2, James. You know what this could mean? Tristan Engelstart will be the second race winner tonight, and that's both of the championship protagonists, as the timer counts down, and now we hit 0 on the clock.
Yeah, we're on the final lap there. Gordon Hauger is coming round the fountain section. Ewan Bramer and Mikey Pollard again. I'm not expecting Ewan Bramer to challenge unless Mikey Pollard makes a dreadful mistake there as well. Also, one other announcement that is being worked on in the background as well. We've got the JPB Endurance Series that will be coming out and starting in May as well. That will be a 6-round calendar, totaling about 36 hours of driving there as well. So if you want to get yourselves involved with that one, you can. Also as well, another series that we will be setting up to start in May will be 100% race length NASCAR series, where we will pick up the NASCAR season from about May the 5th, and we will follow the official calendar. We have had confirmation that 2 other communities will be involved, where we will run full NASCAR rules there as well. But I'll go more into that in a minute, as Gordon Hauger just comes over the line to take the provisional win here today, Alex.
And it's going to be a provisional pro win again for Stein Wienemann, who looks to extend his championship lead. What a run by Deck Crowther. 6 tenths of a second. Incident, Alex. And he goes straight lining off of Acura at turn 1. Kim Andre Bjorklund rounds out the top 3. Good comeback after a difficult race 1. Dan Pepples finishes 5th provisionally, but 4th in the pro class. Chris Barnes takes 6, as we're going to see what happens with Stuart Pearson
goes through. I think Stoughton has run out of fuel.
Oh yeah, that car. Now, did he? He's
out of fuel.
He's out of fuel. He's crawling it to the line in 3rd gear. So Rob Stoughton's evening started off with a bang, courtesy of the race win, and there it is. He's in neutral, and he's just coming out of the final corner now, crawling it. All I'm gonna say is, forget Turbo the Snail. We've got Rob Stoughton, who is literally crawling it on neutral, and just hoping and praying that he gets across the line. And
he's going to get a push.
Gordon Hauger's going to help him across the line. Now that's is it in a way good sportsmanship? He's just going to say, right, like Rob Stotton's got it in first gear. Who'd have thought of that one, eh?
I was just about to sing all by myself there as well. And he did get a nice little push over the line there as well. Great to see here, but here are the results for you, sir.
So, Gordon Hauger, provisionally your race 2 winner here at Long Beach for round 7. JPB GT4 Series. Stein Veerman continues to lead the way in the Pro Class for AIRaceSummaries.com. Jesse taking a win. Pro Class. Head of deck Crowther. Kim Andre Bjorklund provisionally rounds out the top 3 with Dan Pepples for Sim Race Speed and Esports in 4th in the class, 5th overall. Chris Barnes, Mikey Pollard, Ewan Bremer, Tano Oromets and Miles Owens round out the top 10. Tristan Engelstadt is 2nd in the AM class, finishing 11th ahead of Rob Williams. Stuart Pearson completes the top 4 with Robert Stotton getting a push, courtesy of provisional race winner Gordon Hauger across the line, having fuel. Stuart Rice, Torbjorn Mailer, Rachel Hoff, Richard White. Rachel Hoff was the last classified finisher. Richard White retired on lap 22. Nicolo Fornaciari, hopefully see the Italian come back for the rest of the season. Retired on lap 12. Stuart Gibbons on lap 8, along with Michael Seal. Dan Babbage on lap 1, and Andrew Jones didn't even make it to the finish line on the opening lap, as we are going to get ourselves ready now for some interviews.
Yeah, absolutely as well. It's going to be an interesting one. I think there is going to be some conversation about that situation there, Alex, as well. But here we go. I'll drop Dan Peebles into the booth for you.
That's the least amount you can do. But I have to say, bittersweet taste in that race. I could have gotten more. I was stupid to say to be quite honest in that race. I could have gotten more. I've had about 5-6 slowdowns in that race. Touched the wall multiple times. But hey, if you haven't touched the wall at Long Beach, have you really raced there?
True, and you had more than your fair share.
Yes, agreed.
But,
agreed.
But of course, next week we go to Mount Panorama, another fearsome track. Very different speed differentials between GT3s and GT4s. You up for the challenge in the Merc?
I'm up for the challenge. However, though, I am quite nervous about it because it's not a track that I've gone well at in the past. So yeah, it's got to be a tricky one, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Dan, thanks a lot for jumping in, and we'll see you next week for round 8 at Mount Panorama, buddy.
Thank you very much, Alex.
So good to hear from Mr. Dan Pepples. Let's bring in our pro class winner, Stein Wieman, who continues to lead the championship in the overall and the pro standings. If we can, let me just see if I can do that. Hang on.
Oh, there you go. I'll drop him in for you.
Brilliant. Stein Wieman, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, another win to add to your tally here for season 3. Long Beach has really been a sort of showcasing that you guys at the AI Race Summaries cruise didn't have it all your own way. Was it nice to have a bit more of a challenge from not just the teammates here at Long Beach?
I was superb. There were some really fast amps this week. In Quali, I set a good first lap, but that I hit the wall a little bit, so that didn't count. And for Tristan to take, I think it was Tristan to take pole in Quali. That's crazy. Great job to do that. It was fun to see. It was definitely a really tough race in terms of concentration and then overtaking as well.
I think also with Mount Panorama coming up next week, Stein, that again, we've got that lack of runoff area, especially at the top part of the mountain. But also some opportunity to get some slipstreaming. Half of the circuit is made up of literally straight lines. It could really be a circuit that power is going to be crucial, but also handling at the top part of the circuit, like going through the cutting, McPhillamy and all that kind of stuff is a challenge that I know that everyone, including yourself, is relishing. But still to have a points lead after what was not an easy race evening for you, let's be completely honest.
Absolutely.
But you still got you took a win in race 2, still at the sharp end of the field. Things are looking good, but there's still four more rounds, 8 races to decide what could be a very, very closely fought pro title in season 3.
Yeah, it's you sometimes have to calculate a bit, like how much of a risk do I want to take into this in this single race? Because for me, I think currently I have a somewhat of a points lead, which means that being second or third isn't the end of the world, but finishing 10th is a really big deal. So in a race like this where the start can be a little bit crazy, you have to just take it slowly and realize it's a long race and get what you can get. But at the end of the day, consistency is the most important.
Brilliant. Well, Stein, thanks very much for jumping in. We'll see you next week for Mount Panorama for round 8.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Stein Wieman there. Let's have a chat with Sim Race Norway's Kim Andre Bjorklund, who finished 3rd, made up 12 positions in that final race to run at the podium in the pro side of things. Kim Andre, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, another race evening that had its fair share of dramas for yourself. I mean, race 1 wasn't anything, it wasn't exactly the best of circumstances, getting turned around in the hairpin, but you came fighting back on all cylinders, picking up 12 positions to finish 4th overall in the provisional race result, but also to take 3rd in the pro class. A nice way to round off the evening, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. It was really hard to fight back because some contact in the start of the race, so I had to be careful to not get too many incidents.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked out really great at the end.
And you are at the sharp end of the field in the pro championship fight. I did have a chat with Stein Wieman just a second ago. We know that consistency helps to win a championship, but it's also about taking the opportunity when a title protagonist has a drama, and we could very well see that over the next 4 rounds, couldn't we?
I don't hope we do. I don't want to catch Wieman because of his unfortunate times, but I have my fair share of it now, so.
And are you looking forward to the challenge of being in a Porsche GT4 at Mount Panorama next week?
No.
honestly put there, Kim. I applaud your honesty, but of course, well done in race 2. Thank you very much for jumping into the booth and having a chat with us tonight, and good luck next week at Mount Panorama for round 8.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got one more driver to interview before we call time on things tonight. It's our provisional overall race winner in the AM class, also representing Sim Racing Norway. Gordon Hauger, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, let's just say that was an interesting race, but still, you made the strategy work. How are you feeling?
It was crazy. I mean, finished I think it was P9 in the first heat, and then that automatically was P6 in the second. And I was thinking, I'm just gonna ease and take it easy and not crash, and then suddenly all things happen in front of me. So I saw, okay, I can go between the leaders here just after the finish line. And I had to ask my mates there if I had done something wrong, because suddenly I was way ahead of the rest of the field. So, and they were I think at the end they were picking up. I was 4 or 5 seconds ahead of P2, but yeah, it was crazy. I wasn't going to win today. I just signed up today, so yeah.
I mean, of course, the results are classified provisional at the moment. But you know what? Nevertheless, with all the dramas that happened, you have won on the road tonight. So congratulations. Are we going to see you for the rest of the season for Mount Panorama, Red Bull Ring Mugello, and Twin Ring Motegi over the next 4 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I basically signed up for next week because I love Bathurst. So that's going to be fantastic, and also Motegi and Rudskogen, that was changed to Mugello, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. This is a fantastic series. So yeah, I'm going to stay for this season and also attend the next season, I think.
Brilliant. Gordon, thank you so much for your time, and well done on the road tonight. And we'll see you next week at Mount Panorama.
Thank you.
Well, James, good to hear from all of the drivers that I just spoke to, including Dan Pepples, Gordon Hauger, Kim Andre Bjorklund, and our Pro Class winner, Stein Veman. Of course, there is going to be some fallout after this race, which you and I have discussed at several points during race 2. But still, the championship, very, very healthy. We had despite the fact we didn't have the biggest grid that we've had in season 3, there was still plenty of racing up and down the order.
You know, we have been fortunate enough, right, as a series and as a league, to maintain at least a minimum of 20 drivers per races across the series. Now, some may go, oh, well, you've lost this and you've lost 10 and you've lost that. And we have, you're right. There are people that have not raced, like obviously Richard Simnar, you can't help his PC issues. There's been Tom Weston, who unfortunately had a schedule change at work, so he's not been able to make it, partly because he's got to get up at like stupid o'clock in the morning and doesn't want to go to bed late. There's a couple of others that can't make it as well. Jess Rakowski's had an injury. Gavin Petty is work-related as well. But do you know what? I think the good thing about it is we have always had what seems to be a right volume of cars for the track that we are on. And I think any more than the 23 cars here tonight that we had got, I think it might have been a little bit more chaotic. So I think we're hitting the numbers that will be able to maintain for the tracks that we're going to. You know, 23 at Bathurst isn't going to be a bad thing either.
No, exactly. As I said, we've still got 4 more rounds of the championship, 8 races to go. So Mount Panorama next week, 14th of February, Red Bull Ring, Mugello, the penultimate round of the season on the 21st of February, and Twin Ring Motegi, where we will have on the 28th of February a 1-hour feature night race. Well, that concludes the action here for round 7 of the JPB GT4 World Series here at the Long Beach Grand Prix circuit. Coming up here on the JP Broadcasting Network, we will have the likes of the TSRC GT3 PC series. We've also got Evolution Sim Racing Season 3 Round 6 coming up on Suzuka. That's tomorrow night for the pair of them. We've also got the Radical Race Series Season 1 of 2024, Round 8 at Sebring. We've also got the TSRC F4 Sprint coming up this coming Friday. That's going to be round 2 of that championship. JPB TCR Euro Sprint Cup, Season 3, Round 5, live from the Hungaroring. We've also got the iFormula League Super Formula Series and Formula 3 Series, both from the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya on Saturday and Sunday. And also to round off the week here, as always, on JPB, is the IGP Fun Formula 3 Season 1 2023-2024 Round 6 from Imola. He's been James Parfitt. My name's Alex Goldschmidt. If in doubt, flat out. We'll see you next time. Good night.